What is up, you dead zombies?
Welcome to another scary and horrifying episode of Bravado Talk.
My name is Anthony.
And I am Eddie.
What is up, Eddie?
I'm doing pretty spooktacular. How about yourself, Anthony?
I'm doing well.
That was kind of like a bad pun, huh?
I guess. I guess.
I was just trying to get into Halloween spirit, Anthony. Anyways, this is going to be in our playlist, episode number 15. Or as we have our Halloween little segment, it's going to be episode 3 for that Halloween segment.
And we're calling this episode Dark Tales, right? Dark Tales. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to we did our research and we're going to talk about some things that have happened in the past. I think mine is going to be more of a murder case, and then Eddie, you're going to be talking about
kind of conspiracy per se.
Okay, you're right.
Just because when we agreed on this episode with me and Anthony, we were gonna surprise ourselves. So I don't know his and he doesn't know mine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good point. Good point.
We're gonna go ahead and roll it off with number 1. Anthony. We're gonna go back way back to the year of 2014, March 8th, which was kind of a day of a spooky day of flight number 370. Do you know what flight 370 is?
That's I know of it. The Malaysia flight, right?
That's right. So flight 370 was the Malaysian Airlines. So flight 370 was a scheduled international passenger flight operated by Malaysia Airlines that disappeared on March 8th, 2014, while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport to its planned destination in Beijing. Communicated with air traffic, the ATC, around 38 minutes after takeoff when the flight was over the South China Sea. And so during their journey, like I mentioned, those 38 minutes, they lost their ATC radar screens.
Wait, for 30 minutes they didn't have contact with their
after takeoff for 30 minutes, like let's just say from their journey taking off, those 38 minutes, after those 38 minutes they lost contact per se. So they were off the grid. But then so it was crossing the Malay Peninsula and the Andaman Sea.
Okay.
And then it left their radar range between 200 nautical miles, which is 370 kilometers northwest of the Penang Island in northwest peninsular Malaysia, with all 227 passengers and 12 crew members aboard presumed dead.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do you mind if I play a little bit of audio for you? At least what they caught.
No, I don't mind at all. Go for it.
Malaysian 370, request level. 370, we are ready, requesting flight level 350 to Beijing. Malaysian 370 is set to Beijing via People's Alpha departure, 6,000 feet, squawk 2157. Beijing, People's Alpha, 6,000, squawk 2157. Malaysian 370, thank you. Malaysian 370, welcome, I will take over the ground, please. Malaysian 370, good morning. You want requesting for Shaspan. Consider number 5, morning, push back and start to flight 3 to right, exit via Sierra 4. Push back, start to exit to right, exit Sierra 4, CRB 439, Mike Romeo Oscar. Topic. 10, 370, request taxi. Right, commercial Bravo. Malaysian 370, you are available. Say again. Malaysian 370, taxi to Lima Alpha 11, runway take right via standard route, Horseshoe Bravo.
Okay, so right then and there, so there's a two-parter to this, Anthony. So, for most of our listeners who are frequent flyers, you know that towards boarding a plane, it's kind of like a check-in routine that they have where they check with the tower base and make sure that, you know, all systems are go, that their controls are functioning and everything like that. So
That's what they were doing right there.
that's what they were doing right there. So they were still on land while they were still kind of in the boarding stage.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, most. I'll go ahead and continue with my conspiracy theory later on, but I'm just going to give you like this little quick thing that most people thought that the pilots were kind of either drugged or drunk or you know, sick, kind of. But as you can hear, they're perfectly fine. You can't hear like a strain in their voice, or you can't hear like they're upset or anything.
Slurring their words.
Yeah, you can't hear anything like that. And it's like, you know, it's one of those things where you kind of have to double take on it because you don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this last part that I'm going to show you. This, by the way, this is all the audio that they found.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find the black box like we were talking on previous episodes of recording.
Mm-hmm.
The recording equipment, but this is the only piece that they had, and this is literally maybe like 5 to 10 minutes prior before them taking off. This is the audio.
Before taking off.
Yeah.
Okay.
370, 3 to right of takeoff. Nice. Nice to right of Malaysia, Malaysia 37, thank you. Malaysia, Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, selamat pagi. Identified climb flight level 180, cancel the side turn right direct to Ikari. Okay, level 180 direct Ikari, Malaysian 370. 370, contact Lampur radar 13269. Alright, 1326 Malaysian 370. Lampur Control Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, Lampur radar, good morning. Climb flight level 250. Level 250, Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, climb flight level 350. Level 350, Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.99. Malaysian 370.
So right then and there, you hear if you can hear clearly, they're basically calling it a kind of like a goodbye and a good night that they're off, that they're taking off. It's, I don't know, I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but to me it's kind of creepy just because you never knew that was their last moment of communication.
So it's like creepy that they're saying bye to each other, or what?
Like the way they say it, yeah. So it's like
they knew?
yeah, like you heard. So that's the way they communicate. It's you know how they were saying, Malaysia 370, good night, and Tower says Tower, yada yada yada, good night. Yeah, so it's kind of these nautical terms. For some reason, with ROTC, me learning it, you know, it's the military alphabet: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, so on and so forth. So it's crazy the way that they talk. I mean, most people won't understand what it is, but to some people with our listeners that do have the knowledge of it, if you can go ahead and teach us and kind of decipher of what they said, that'd be pretty dope. So, Anthony, as I was mentioning, there were, you know, for those 38 minutes while they're departing, they lost their, they didn't lose their, they lost power, sorry, or how do I say this?
They lost communication or what?
Yeah. So no one knows exactly what had happened. Everything right now is just a theory of what could have happened. People. So did you ever hear theories? Before I continue, did you ever hear like any conspiracy theories about what happened?
What happened to them?
370?
No.
No news, anything?
No, and I wasn't really. I didn't really do my investigation on it yet, but
So most theories, and this might bring a light to you. Most theories of the Malaysian flight of 370 was they got hijacked.
Okay.
The second one was that the pilots were unconscious. The third one was that the pilots kind of retaliated and took over, which was
That's a weird one.
kind of confusing because by the sound of their voice, like I was mentioning, it's okay, it's perfect. Like that wasn't their intention. And fourth was that they lost power, and then the fifth one was just that they were kind of sucked into that peninsula, the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, they're all good theories, but at the end of the day, when it comes to when it comes to business and people want to know what happened to that flight, you have to think just out of the ordinary. If you never know if what if that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of situations. So the search of the missing airplane, which became the most costly in aviation history, focused initially on the South China and Andaman Seas, because I did mention that plane from Malaysia was headed towards Beijing.
Okay. Right.
So before analysis of the aircraft's automated communications with the Inmaris satellite identified a possible crash site somewhere in the southern Indian Ocean. Like I mentioned, I mean, it's just, the lack of official information in the days is just the disappearance. They didn't know where it went. They didn't know if it sank. But so later on, they pieces of debris from the aircraft were kind of floating off to shore.
Oh, word.
But that happened in 2014. But the pieces of debris started showing up between 2015 and 2016.
I mean, but is that something to be like suspicious about? I mean, how long does it take for? I mean, depending on where the plane crashed, like, I wonder how long it takes for the debris to go at a beach or something, like, so they can find, or where did they find it? Did they find it like floating on the beach or what? Like, does it say?
So it says that the aircraft was washed ashore in the Western Indian Ocean during 2015 and 2016. So during those 3 years, you know how in the crime scene they cone everything and they think, it was like
there was a different location,
however much square foot. So it's approximated that it was 100 square kilometers that could have happened between that accident.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much kind of like part of the ocean. But
so for sure that thing's on the ocean, for sure.
Well, I mean, dude, if it's in the ocean, the aircraft would have sank, no?
But but that's what I'm saying. It's in the ocean. For sure it crashed in the ocean and it's somewhere deep down in there.
Maybe it could have gone to a parallel universe. Dude, it's because, look, all these possibilities are just crazy just because you don't know what happened.
Right, but I mean, like, the thing, I guess that the question here is, like, what happened? Like, because it's in the ocean, isn't it? Because you found debris, so, like, now the question is, like, did it get, like you said, did it get hijacked? Were the pilots, like, drugged? Or did they fall, or whatever, like, or did they get sucked in by some magical force into the ocean? But the thing is, like, it's in
like
there.
A vortex, yeah.
It's in there for sure.
Well, hopefully. But, so they closed all this whole investigation in 2017. They closed it because it was just, from the reasoning of my research, it was just too expensive.
So 14 to 17, they were looking for anything, and they stopped. Okay.
But then they reopened kind of the case in January 2018 to continue searching for that aircraft.
Okay.
So that's pretty much at where we're
still
at
going
now. Apparently it is, because I according to my sources, I couldn't find any evidence of them stopping
again.
The search. So it's just one of those things where who knows what happened. My thing is, I couldn't find anywhere of what debris it was. Whether it could be life vests, whether it could be airplane parts, whether it could be
body parts. Who
knows, right? Because like I did mention, it was 227 passengers and 12 crew members aboard.
Yeah.
So was it vests?
Dude, imagine, dude, that's crazy. That's so many people just gone like that, like
vanished, dude. Like that. That's crazy. And I still remember because I was a senior in high school.
No, you weren't. Oh yeah, 14, right?
Yeah,
you were. Yeah,
I was a senior. Well, we were senior in high school, and for me, this was just a big trending topic because I would hear my teachers talk about it during class.
The crazy thing is, don't other planes already fly by there? Like,
I'll
was
be
this
honest.
the only-
I'll be honest. I don't know.
Was this the only plane that decided to go that route, and that happened? Like, I mean, do planes still fly by there?
I honestly don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna give you false information. I don't know.
I feel like they do. They must be, because like if they were so sure that to fly the plane that way, I mean, I'm starting to think something happened to them for sure. Like, not like paranormal shit, but something like hijacking for sure or something. Because like they have to have been going the same route as other planes.
So, I also found out that Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 later on, like maybe 4 months, or was it 4 months? I can't find the timestamp here, but it says it happened after Flight 370. It says Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, which was shot down while flying over conflict-stricken eastern Ukraine 4 months later. So yeah, it was 4 months later. The combined loss caused significant financial problems for Malaysia Airlines, which was renationalized by the Malaysian government in December 2014. Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot happened in 2014 for Malaysia Airlines. But do I know if they still take that route? I don't.
I wouldn't. Fuck that, dude. Imagine.
I mean,
Why would you take that chance of it happening again? I wouldn't. I don't know.
But there's always you never know when your time is until you know. You know?
Well, yeah, but if I don't know. Because, like, I mean, if, say, I own the airport, right, or whatever, and I sent the plane, and it crashed because, like, it ran out of gas or something like that, or an engine failed, then it's like, okay, well, it failed, right? But if one of my fucking planes just disappeared out of nowhere for no freaking reason, then maybe I would want to avoid that route, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get you. I get your concern, and I would see where the problem is. But, I mean, it looks like Malaysia Airlines is no more. I'm not going to go ahead and say that because I don't want to give you false information, but that's just my thinking.
Dude, how crazy would it be they find them in some freaking, like, desert island, and they've been eating each other?
Like Lost? No.
Seriously, they're cutting each other's feet and shit and eating them?
Well, it landed in the ocean, so who knows?
You don't know that.
I mean, oh man, those passengers, moms, kids, parents, newlyweds. Oh man, it's just.
I mean, we don't know,
sucks.
right? Anything could have happened.
Yeah,
so they could be alive.
So if our listeners have any input on this, send us a DM. And if you have any information or if we miss information, let us know.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap it up for me for flight.
You sure?
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me for Flight 370.
All right, sounds good.
Did you have any questions? I'm sorry.
No, I asked them. I asked the questions I had.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I would be skeptical. Like, dude, fuck that. Like, just sending them in the same route. I wonder. That's my big. Like what? Like if they keep using that same route that they used.
Only one way to find out. Go get a flight.
It's like the. You know how they say that what the.
It's yours. There you go.
Did you know that that if you go to a building, I wouldn't say all of them, but I'd say most of them, the majority of them, or if you're lucky to find one. Do you know how they don't believe, or they believe that the 13th floor is like, it's like
Oh yeah, when we went to Vegas, you told us that.
right? I told
Yeah.
you that, right? Yeah.
Because we were staying at the Polo Towers, and you're like,
Look,
"Hey,
there's no 13th
look,
floor.
there's no 13th floor," and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
And there was a couple. Remember, there was a couple right next to us, and they
Yeah.
were, and they said it too, and it's because of that, because they believe that it's like bad luck or whatever or something. I don't know. So they just skip it. Like it's there, like they have it, but it's just empty, and then they just go to the next floor. But it's like this thing where it's like a legend or whatever, or something like a myth that if you have that 13th floor is like a scary or or bad luck type of floor, and that's why they don't have it in buildings. And it's not like that. Like I would be like that with this flight, with this path or whatever. I'll go around it.
Kind of skeptical.
Yeah.
Or, or what's the word? Paranoid.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't want to allow. I wouldn't want to lose another fucking 300 people, 200,
227.
227. Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Anyways, next Dark Tale, and this is more. This has more of an actual victim, like an actual it has like the person that actually committed the crime, and we actually know what happened and everything. So I'm gonna take you back to 2011.
Oh, okay, that's a while back.
So we were freshmen or sophomores back then, and so this story happened in Macon or Macon. I'm gonna say Macon, Georgia. And so this is a case relating this woman. Her name was Lauren Giddings. And Lauren, oh, that's kind of weird, huh? That's your babe's name. Well, Lauren Giddings, she was a law student, and she was attending. Let me see, what school was she attending? Sorry, folks. She was attending. I have it here. What the?
Thank you, Anthony.
Sorry. What the? Bro, this thing's not working when I want it. Okay. She was attending Mercer University.
Okay.
I started burping all of a sudden. So she's attending Mercer University, and again, she was going there for her law degree, right? And so like it's around that time where they have to like take this exam, because I don't know if you know, but you go to high school, college, then you go to law school, and you're supposed to take this exam. I'm not exactly sure which exam, what it's called. I am pretty sure if you've to all of our law students that are out there, they might know what I'm talking about. But you're supposed to take this exam. That's like pretty much is like you did it. You're a lawyer. Like you're certified lawyer pretty much. And so it's around that time where she's this woman, she's studying for this exam and everything. And
sorry, you're talking about the LSAT, right?
Yes, maybe. I think so.
So it's an admission test for law school.
I think so. No. She's already in law school. It's another exam that you have to take.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll probably remind you later. I'm sorry I cut you off.
You're going to look it up?
Yeah.
Anyways. So, again, she's studying and everything and all that good stuff. And, well, on the day of, does it say here? No, it doesn't say. Well, one day she disappeared. Nobody knew where she was, right? So immediately all her friends and her family started looking for her. And there was like a big search for her and everything, and the news started coming out, and they started interviewing people trying to make sure where she was. And turns out that in the parking lot next to a garbage dumpster,
Can.
yeah,
Trash.
they found her torso.
Oh shit.
Yep. So they found her torso, and immediately instead of being a lost person, it became a murder case immediately, right there and then. So, the investigators started looking around, trying to see if there's any clues or whatever. But the crazy part about this case was that the news reporter that went there, they started interviewing people, okay, and they interviewed this guy. His name was Stephen McDaniels. Stephen McDaniels, that was his name. And they interviewed him. And you can see all of this online. You can see all of this on YouTube, and they're interviewing him, and he's pretty much saying like, oh, like, oh yeah, we've been looking, me and her friends have been looking around and everywhere. They asked him like, who are you? Like he was the neighbor. He's literally the next door neighbor to her. And again, they're interviewing this guy, and he's like, oh no, like, we've been looking for her, like, we're wondering where she's at and everything. And at what point the reporter's like, she tells him, she asks him, do you know if there's anybody that's like that might be that try to harm her or had anything against her or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And right before he started like answering that question, she goes like, oh, because like they found her body already like in the parking lot or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, this is on YouTube, and you can see the guy's face kind of like freak the fuck out. He starts like panicking, and she's like, what the hell? Like, or like immediately she's like, are you okay? And he's like, oh no. He goes, the what? The body? And she goes, yeah, they found a body already in the parking lot. They found a torso, and this guy's freaking out. He's like, what? Like, what the heck? And she goes like, yeah, like, I mean, we don't know if it's her, but they found a body, so they're gonna start doing their, the forensics or whatever. And this was like, oh man, like I need to sit down or something. And the camera like zooms in on him as he's like walking away and sitting down on the floor and like putting his hands on his face. And then later on, they interview him again. He's all better. And they're like, well, what happened? And he's like, ah, man, like, I can't believe somebody could have done that to her and all these things. And he's just saying all this bullshit, right? And meanwhile, the cops are looking around Lauren's apartment. And you know how like in those crime scenes or the movies, they do like this, they put like this chemical or whatever, and they turn off the lights and they reveal everything, like the blood,
like a UV light.
Yeah, something like that. It looks like that.
A chemical.
Yeah. So they did that and they can see that on the bathtub, like everything just full of blood.
Would you mind if I look at the report just to kind of?
You want to see it? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You found it?
Yeah.
Lauren Giddings was reported missing in June of 2011. Reporter Michelle Casada found him standing outside the apartment building where he and Giddings had lived, and that we now know was the scene of the crime. He talks about joining Giddings' friends to look for his law school classmate and how they entered her apartment to see if there was anything wrong. It was also the first time McDaniel found out that a portion of Lauren Giddings' body had been recovered by police from the dumpster where he had put it. Knowing now that McDaniel had murdered and dismembered Giddings, the interview provides a glimpse inside the mind of a killer as he builds his story and his alibi. Take a look.
Person that was living there?
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time or anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, I've always seen noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I we were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Have you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Huh.
Right. So you can see right there how he just freaks out as soon as he hears that they found the part of her body. And as you guys heard, he was actually in law school as well with her. They were actually classmates together. I think at one point they actually had a project together, and I mean she knew him. She knew him. He knew her, and yeah. So then the cops saw this interview with him, and the reporter right there, you can tell that she's kind of just like, oh man, maybe he's just upset that they find, like, maybe he didn't know that they had found a body, and he just got freaked out because maybe he thought she was still out there, you know. He wasn't expecting to find out that she had been killed or something like that, right? But the cops, they were like, nah, like something's fishy with this guy. Like, why is he all fidgety? Like, why did he freak out like that, you know? And apparently, like, because he was in the search party or whatever, like he was supposed to be looking around everywhere, and they were saying, everyone was telling the cops, and the cops noticed too, that he was like fidgety, that he was like kind of like just weirded out, like he was not, because apparently he was like kind of like a chill guy, but he was like very, very like
sketch.
Yeah, dude. So anyways, he became like a suspect. So they started like talking to him and investigating him. They were like, okay, well, how do you know her? How do you you're the neighbor, like literally the next door neighbor. Like, what do you know or anything? They asked him like if they could look at his room, and they go into his apartment, and the first thing that they figure out about this guy is that this guy's a fucking weirdo for sure. Like, this guy has like, apparently they found well, the more common things, I mean, this is not weird or anything, but he like has like a knife collection, like he's like super nerdy and everything when it comes, like he just likes to play video games and all that stuff, which is fine, right? But then they find out like that he has like an underwear mask. So this fucking grabbed like an underwear, like a girl's panties, and he put holes in it and put it, like, made it a mask or something like that.
What the fuck?
He had told the cops. I don't know why this came up, but
what did he tell them?
He told them that he was a virgin or something like that. Something came up where he ended up telling them that he was a virgin, that he was saving sex for marriage. But then they were like, okay, well, if that's the case, why is there a bunch of condoms here, right? So then he was like, oh, like, he admitted to the cops that he stole the condoms. So the cops used that as an excuse to put him like under arrest for theft. And then because like, so I think they couldn't just like bring him in to questioning just on the fact that they think that he was the murderer.
Yeah.
So they just used that as an excuse to bring him in and question him. And dude, more things that they discovered as he was being questioned. This fool had fucking child pornography.
Oh my
This fool had a bunch of like women's underwears, and he also had, dude, and the worst part is that he had a bunch of footage of Lauren in her apartment. So this guy will go.
Well, her name is Laurel, first of all.
Is it Laurel or Lauren?
Yes.
No, it's Lauren.
Laurel.
No, North Laurel. In North Laurel. No, Laurel is not. Yeah, no, her name is Lauren.
Sorry.
You messed me up.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really getting into this.
I'm like, I can see Lauren here.
Yeah.
And then
So sorry to cut you off, but he
They-
had child pornography. He had a shit ton of women's panties. He had evidence of Lauren.
No, not well. That's not evidence. He recorded.
He recorded her?
Lauren. Yeah, he recorded Lauren. He would.
What?
What he did was he taped a camera into a stick like a broom, and he would peek at her through her
fucking
window.
sus.
He would peek at her, and apparently this motherfucker got a key, like a spare key, or I think because the landlord or something gave him a key for some reason, and I think he made a copy of it, of a master key. It was a master key, the one that opens all of the keys. And I think they were the landlord was doing some project, and he was like here, get the master key so you can enter here or whatever. And he made a copy of it and would enter her apartment, and he would steal her panties and everything. And the terrible thing too is that Lauren, she was already sketched out by this guy. He had already, like he showed interest on her. Like he had already asked her out on a date, and she said she just straight up rejected him, and she told her friends that she felt kind of weird about it. Like she just didn't like his vibe and stuff. And she had that intuition, like she had that like that feeling that something was up with this guy, right? So again, this guy had already been obsessed with her, and he was just doing everything to pretty much, I don't know, like he was just stalking her like the entire time. Oh, and Lauren would tell her friends that she felt like she was being watched. She felt like that someone had been in her apartment, in her room. So anyways, so where do I go from here?
So hold on. So what was the guy's name?
His name is Steven.
Steven McDaniel? Okay.
Yeah.
So she's found dead. Her socials in the dumpster. Steven McDaniel goes on an interview. Access. Police find a way to talk to him and says that he stole condoms. Then he's detained.
He's like charged. Yeah, he's detained for
theft.
For theft. Yeah.
And then later on, people find the police find evidence that he has underwears, all that, his collection of child pornography, and tapes of Lauren's apartment, and in his computer and all that stuff. So at this point, is there already a case? Is he the one? Is he Lauren's killer or?
Okay, so
what's the...
right. So I told you that they brought him in for questioning, and as he was being questioned, they were looking at his room and everything. And apparently at the beginning he was being super cooperative. He was like giving them information, all that stuff. And as this was going on, that's where they found all the child pornography and everything.
Yeah. But what's going on?
And
are they taking it to court? Is he under arrest? Is he...
So
what's going on after?
So immediately, like just with the recordings of Lauren, they already knew that it was going to be him. All they needed was some DNA or everything. And they were looking, again, they found one of Lauren's like panties and stuff like that, like in his apartment, and they started like, and they found on his web search, they found like his history saying like how to kill or something like that, or how to clean a crime and things like that, and he had bought a like an axe or a knife like the day before or something. So like that's the knife that he used for chopping her into pieces.
Like a small hatchet, okay.
Yeah. So they had all of that evidence, and they found her blood on the axe and everything. And this fool knew that, right? So there's more tapes in which you can see Steven, and this is why this case is super interesting, because at first when they brought him into questioning, he was being super like talkative and all that stuff, like normal, like the way you saw him in the with the reporter. But then there's like the second time they start asking him again, I think that's when he figures out like that he's fucked, that he's screwed, right?
Yeah.
So he starts acting so weird. If you want, try to find it. It's like the tape where they start questioning him, and he acts like a fucking robot. He's just like, yes, I don't know. Like, it's so weird. It's like the weirdest thing ever, and I think that's why I like this case. Not necessarily that I enjoyed or something like that, but it was just super interesting how this food just went from a super talkative guy trying to help find this girl, and and then he just transformed into this freaking dead zombie.
Got you. Pause it. I'll pause it.
This is an ad. You don't have premium?
Okay, so I found the interview. Let's go ahead and hear it.
Let's just hear a little bit.
All right. I just gotta ask you a few questions. You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right? You don't have any weapons on you, do you? That's just you are. What's wrong? You know Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking earlier tonight, right? You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
We came down here and talked a little bit, and then we left.
Yes.
Okay. I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay? Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of y'all
Yes.
were law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay. Are you almost finished?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have too much more to do, right?
No.
All right. Are you going to stay here in Macon?
I don't know.
Did you used to work at the district attorney's office in Macon?
Yes.
Was you on the prosecutor side or the defense side?
Prosecutor.
So you were on our side.
Yes.
Right. You never worked on the other side?
No.
Did you like it when you were down there?
Yes.
Got along with everybody?
Yes.
So it goes on like that for the whole question.
Yeah, until the end, and again, I don't know if it's like they don't know if it's like because like the reason I got it I learned about this is it's about the questioning, like how the investigator or the cop, how they question them, because I don't know if you've seen videos about that where it's like, you know, they might use this strategy where like, oh, the bad cop, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things
yeah.
like
I know
that.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
So they were doing like this a study on this one where it's like, oh, they're using this tactic right here in this, but they were saying like that it didn't work with this guy because this guy was such a fucking like zombie, like he was just like so brain dead that like none of the tactics work and everything, and that's why they think like this is such a like weird like case on the way he started acting. And but anyways, again, they found out all the DNA that matched to her body in his apartment and in his apartment, all that stuff. And
So-
the crazy part too, sorry to cut you off. The crazy part too is that he could have gotten away with it, kind of, because here's how he got caught, and this is why he got super like freaked out and why they found the body. So this guy, he threw it away on the dumpster, right? But apparently, because and that same day he was that the garbage truck was supposed to show up and take the trash, but they were running late. So they didn't take it, and then so that's why the cops were able to find it. Like if the trash the garbage people would have actually been there on time, they would have taken the body, and it would have taken longer for them to figure out where her body was, or even like find out that it was this guy, you know. So he got unlucky on that one, where he thought that trash would have taken care of it.
Well, he shouldn't have been lucky. So, did you find out his verdict, or what was his sentencing, or what was he?
What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, it's a murder, so
Death?
so it's either the death penalty or life.
Would you happen to know that information?
So this guy pleaded guilty to all charges, and he had to pretty much say how he did it.
Yeah.
I think most of the times if you try to plead, because you know how that works, right? If you plead guilty, like if you pretty much own up to it, they'll give you a lesser sentence. Yeah. So this guy pled guilty, so they gave him, I think, 25 years to life, I think without parole. But yeah, like that that was pretty much the verdict. And man, like the thing too is like it's pretty sad the way he described how he did it. Like this motherfucker, he went in there with a mask on. He went in with
his
mask
Chonies
on.
mask.
I didn't think about that. Imagine with the Chonies mask. You motherfucker, Steven.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at. I'm just laughing at the fact that the Choni mask.
Because okay, so if you were to see this guy has a fucking like, what is it? A Jufro? That's a Jufro, right?
I have no idea.
It's like he has long hair and it's all curly. Mm-hmm. And so just this guy with the freaking Chonis mask, that'd be pretty spooky. But yeah, he says how he entered her apartment. She obviously like freaked the fuck out, and he just proceeded to launched to her, like he just leaped onto her, and just began strangling her. And dude, and the thing too is that she fought, like she fought hard and everything for her life, and he actually ended up taking off the mask, and she saw who he was, and he says that she was pretty much saying like, no, please, like Steven, like please stop or something like that.
Damn. And
these motherfuckers just kept going and just strangled her and then chopped her to pieces, dude. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but you know how I was saying how like he became like the prime suspect from the very beginning because he was acting sketchy and everything.
Because of the
So this fucking idiot, like imagine that, right, bro? Like this fool murders someone, right? He kills somebody and then starts pretending to be like a friend, like a concerned friend, and looking for her. Dude, this guy had like a scratch mark on his face. Like he had a big scratch mark on his face and another scratch like on his on the side.
Like by his ribs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then when they were starting to kind of like be sketched out by this guy, they asked him, they're like, how did you get that scratch? And he was just kind of like, oh, like, I did it to myself. But it's like right there and then immediately it's like, oh,
a dead giveaway.
Yeah, it's like a dead giveaway. It's like, but yeah, I just forgot to mention that little part. And but yeah, man, like, it's just crazy, dude. How like, you think you're safe in your home, and there's actually a fucking stalker, going through your shit. And if anyone is out there like just living on your own, please be careful. Lock your doors. Get a gun.
If you want to, that is.
A taser, I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So that wraps our little dark tales for today. And what do we got next, Eddie?
And we're gonna go ahead and cheer it off with a shout out corner. So today we're gonna go ahead and have a shout out from this is gonna come from @BE10_22, and he says, shout out to the Bravado team, Eddie and Anthony from Mexico City, Bravado Talk International.
Let's go.
Yo. Imagine Bravado live from Mexico City. Maybe after COVID, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Next one we got is Too Cozy Daniel, and he gives, I think he's giving a shout out to himself again.
Yeah, you're on a roll, buddy. That's number 4. Hey, that's good.
That's commitment right there.
What did we say the other time? Sometimes you gotta give credit when credit is due.
Self high five. Self high five. Yes, sir.
That's right. And then the third one we have @Edgar_Vergara with 2 A's. And he says, I want to shout out me, Eddie, and Anthony for a great weekend and happy birthday. Aw, thanks, brother.
What a king.
Really do appreciate it.
What a king.
It was pretty lit.
Yes, sir.
My boy Edgar was off the beans. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Anthony, where can they find us on social media?
You can find us at Bravado Talk at Instagram and Twitter.
And we can listen to this fabulous podcast.
And you can listen to this fabulous podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And make sure to follow, like, and subscribe at our YouTube channel, please, because it helps the algorithm. Thank you.
Ah!